Hello everyone and welcome to the new session of the lecture series, and today's topic is respiration in plants. And today we'll be solving and discussing all the NCERT based multiple choice questions. And this lecture is the continuation of the previous lecture, which was again based on the NCERT based multiple choice questions. So let's start with the first question. So here they are asking which one of the following reactions is an example of oxidative decarboxylation. Okay, so what is oxidative decarboxylation? So what happens? Pyruvate, which is produced at the end of glycolysis, is converted into acetyl coenzyme A. Alright, and what happens? A carbon dioxide is released because pyruvate is a 3-carbon compound. Acetyl coenzyme A is a 2-carbon compound. And what else is happening? NAD is getting converted into NADH. Alright? And this reaction is catalyzed by the pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. Okay, you can also add coenzyme A here because coenzyme A is being added here. Okay, this reaction is catalyzed by pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. Okay, which requires magnesium ion. Okay, so this is known as oxidative decarboxylation. Alright. So, options are conversion of succinate to fumarate. Okay, this is not correct. Second option is conversion of fumarate to malate. This is happening during the Krebs cycle. This is also happening during Krebs cycle. Conversion of pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A. Okay, this is known as oxidative decarboxylation. Okay, there is a release of carbon dioxide. Okay, due to oxidation. That's why it's known as oxidative decarboxylation. And fourth option, conversion of citrate to isocitrate. This also happens during the Krebs cycle. Alright, so what should be the correct answer? Answer should be option number C, conversion of pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A. Now next question is, the main purpose of electron transport chain, alright, is cycle NADH back to NAD. Okay. Second is use of intermediates from TCA cycle, breakdown, pyruvate, or all of the above. So let's talk about electron transport chain now. So what happens during electron transport chain? The reduced coenzymes are oxidized. Okay. Reduced coenzymes such as NADH, okay, is oxidized. Alright, so what happens? NADH will release electrons. Okay, that's why it is oxidized. Okay, gaining of electron is reduction, whereas loss of electrons is oxidation. So now we know electron transport chain consists of 4 complexes which are present in the inner mitochondrial membrane. So complex 1 is known as NADH dehydrogenase. Alright, first complex is known as NADH dehydrogenase. What does this complex do? This complex transfers electron from NADH. Okay, electrons from NADH are transported to ubiquinone. Alright, and from ubiquinone they are transferred to ubiquinol. Okay, so what is happening? Cycle NADH back to NAD. Alright, so NADH donates electron, it gets oxidized and it gets converted into NAD. Alright. So what should be the answer? Answer is option number A. Now, next question is, a major site for synthesis of ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate is? Alright. So let's talk about the complex 5 of the electron transport chain. So complex 5 is known as the ATP synthase. Okay. So this complex 5 is involved in ATP synthesis. Okay. And what happens? It consists of two parts. First is the F0 part. Second is the F1. Alright. F0, okay, it acts as a transmembrane. Okay. It acts as a transmembrane ion channel. Okay. And it is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Okay. And what happens? Protons, okay, or hydrogen ions, they move back to the matrix. They move back to the matrix, okay, from the intermembrane space, okay, through this channel, through F0. And what happens in F1? Okay, as the protons move, okay, through F0 into the matrix, there is a conformation change. There is a conformation change, or you can say there is a mechanical rotation. Conformation change in the F1 part. Okay. And this conformation change creates energy. Okay. This conformation change creates energy for the synthesis of ATP. Alright. So options are F1, which is also known as the headpiece. Okay. Second option is F0. Third is F1, F0. Fourth is mitochondria. So what should be the answer? F1. Okay. Option A is the correct answer. F1 is involved in the synthesis of ATP. Okay. F0 is involved in the transfer of electron. Okay. It acts as a channel only. Now, fourth question is, terminal cytochrome of respiratory chain which donates electrons to oxygen is? Okay. So again, let's talk about the electron transport chain or electron transport system. So what happens? Now, let's talk about the complex 4 here. Okay. Complex 4, which is known as cytochrome C oxidase. Alright, it consists of two cytochromes, cytochrome A and cytochrome A3. Okay, so what happens? Electrons, okay, electrons are accepted by the cytochrome A, okay, or you can say we have cytochrome C here, which is a mobile element. This cytochrome C donates electron to cytochrome A. Cytochrome A further, okay, donate electron to cytochrome 3 and cytochrome A3, and finally cytochrome A3 delivers the electrons to oxygen. Alright, and what is produced? Hydrogen atoms are also accepted by oxygen, okay, hydrogen atoms also and electrons also. And what is formed? Water is produced. So this is known as terminal oxidation. So they are asking about the terminal cytochrome. Okay, the last cytochrome. So what should be the answer? Answer is option B, cytochrome A3. Okay, cytochrome A3 transfer the electrons to the oxygen. Next question is, in the electron transport system, the final acceptor of electron is? Okay, now we know. Here they are talking about the terminal oxidation. In the previous question, we have talked about terminal oxidation, in which what happens? Molecular oxygen okay, accepts protons and electrons and gets converted into water. Okay, so the final receptor of electrons should be, what should be the answer? Option C, oxygen. The next question is total number of ATP consumed during Krebs cycle, they are saying. Alright, so Krebs cycle, also known as TCA cycle, what happens? Initially, citrate is produced. Okay, citrate is produced, okay, by combination of oxaloacetate with acetyl coenzyme A. Alright. From citrate, what is produced? Isocitrate. Okay, citrate isomerize to form isocitrate in the presence of aconitase enzyme. Okay, from isocitrate, what is produced? Alpha ketoglutarate. Alright, in this step, what happens? NAD is converted into NADH. Okay, and what else is happening? Carbon dioxide is released. Okay, there is decarboxylation. Now, so this becomes a 5-carbon compound. Citrate is a 6-carbon compound. Okay. Oxaloacetic acid is a 4-carbon compound. Acetyl coenzyme 2-carbon compound. Again, there is one more decarboxylation step, second decarboxylation. Again here, NAD is produced, from NAD, NADH is produced. Okay, but there is no consumption of ATP, only NADH is being synthesized. Now what happens? Here succinyl coenzyme A is produced. Okay, which is a 4-carbon compound. From succinyl coenzyme A, what is produced? Succinate is produced. Here what happens? There is a formation of GTP. Okay, from GDP. Alright, and this reaction is coupled with the formation of ATP. Again, you can see there is production of ATP, okay, from ADP, but no ATP is consumed here. Okay, succinate will convert into fumarate then. Fumarate, here what happens? FADH2 is produced. Again, there is no consumption of ATP. Alright, from fumarate, malate is produced. Okay, and from malate, oxaloacetate is regenerated. And again here NADH is produced. So you can see in the entire step there is no ATP consumption. So what should be the answer? Option A, 0. The next question is electron transport system is present in eukaryotic cell in. Okay, this is very direct, straightforward question. The answer should be inner mitochondrial membrane. Okay, so electron transport chain consists of 4 complex 1, then we have complex 3, okay, instead of 2, and then we have complex 2, okay, and then we have the complex 4, and then we have the ATP synthase, which is also known as complex 5. Okay, complex 1 is known as NADH dehydrogenase. Okay, complex 2 is known as succinate dehydrogenase. Complex 3 is known as cytochrome BC1, and complex 4 is known as cytochrome C oxidase. And complex 5 you already know is known as ATP synthase. Okay, so these complex, okay, these are present in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Okay, inner mitochondrial membrane. Okay, this side we have the matrix. Okay, and here we have the intermembrane space. Alright, so during the flow of electrons, what happens during the downward flow of electrons? Okay, protons are transported from the matrix to the intermembrane space. Alright, there is a proton accumulation here. Okay, as the electron move downhill the electron transport system. The next question is acceptor of acetyl coenzyme in Krebs cycle. This is also a straightforward question. What should be the answer? Answer is oxaloacetic acid. Okay, and what is produced? Citrate is produced. Okay, so let's come to the next question, which is they are asking out of 38 ATP molecules produced per glucose, 34 ATP molecules are formed from NADH and FADH2. So here they are talking about the aerobic respiration. Alright, so now we know aerobic respiration takes place in, okay, first step is glycolysis, during which what happens? 2 NADH are produced. So here we'll be talking about NADH and FADH2 only. Okay, along with 2 ATP are also produced, but we won't consider that. Okay, then during oxidative decarboxylation, what happens? Which is the next step after glycolysis. Again, 2 NADH are produced. Alright, then what happens? The acetyl coenzyme which is produced enters the Krebs cycle. In Krebs cycle, what happens? 6 NADH are produced. Alright, because it occurs 2 times and 2 FADH2 is also produced. Along with GTP is also produced, but we won't consider this, okay, in this question. So now we know that 1 NADH is equivalent to 3 ATP and 1 FADH2 is equivalent to 2 ATP. So here we have 6 ATP. Here again we have 6 ATP. Here we have 6 into 3 is 18 ATP plus 4 ATP, which is equal to 22. So now if we add 6 plus 6 plus 22, 6 plus 6 plus 22, what should be the answer? Answer is 34 ATP. Alright. So out of 38 molecules per glucose, 34 ATP molecules are formed from NADH and FADH2. Okay, so answer is respiratory chain. We have to, this occurs during the respiratory chain or the aerobic respiration. The next question is in citric acid cycle, energy bond, okay, in GTP is produced as a result of conversion of, okay, so they are just asking where GTP is produced. So GTP is produced, okay, in this step when succinyl coenzyme is converted into succinate. Okay, during this GTP is produced from GDP. So what should be the answer? Answer is succinyl coenzyme to succinic acid. The next question is citrate synthase is an enzyme of TCA cycle is located in. Okay, options is cytosol in prokaryotes. Second is, okay, this is true. Okay, second option is mitochondrial matrix in eukaryotes. This is also true. Okay, so what should be the answer? Answer should be option C. So you know that prokaryotes, they lack membrane bound organelles. Okay, they lack membrane bound organelles. Alright. So in these prokaryotes, citrate synthase is present in the prokaryotes and citrate is synthesized in the cytosol. Okay, citrate synthase is present in cytosol, so obviously citrate will be produced in cytosol. Okay, but what happens in eukaryotes? They have mitochondria. Okay, so the enzymes of the TCA cycle, which is citrate synthase, is present in the matrix of the mitochondria. So answer is option C. The next question is, which one of the following do the two names refer to? Tricarboxylic acid. Okay, these are the options. Okay, so what should be the answer? Answer is citric acid cycle and Krebs cycle. Okay, so TCA cycle is also known as citric acid cycle and Krebs cycle. Okay, why? Because it was given by, Krebs cycle was Sir Hans Adolf Krebs. Okay. Okay. He gave the Krebs cycle, and why it is called citric acid? Because the first product from it is citric acid, which is a 6-carbon compound. And why it is called tricarboxylic acid? Because there are 3 carboxylic group in citric acid. Okay, carboxylic acid group. That's why it is known as TCA cycle. The next question is, which one of the following is essential for the respiration as well as photosynthesis? Both. Okay, so this is a straightforward question. The answer here is option C, cytochrome. Alright, cytochrome acts as a electron carrier. Okay, both in respiration and photosynthesis. Alright, Rubisco enzyme, you know, plastoquinone is also electron carrier, but cytochrome is involved in electron transport in both photosynthesis and respiration. Okay. Now coming to the next question, the correct sequence of electron acceptor in ATP synthesis. Alright, so again they are talking about the electron transport chain. So these are the options. Okay, these are all cytochrome. Cytochrome A3, cytochrome A, cytochrome B and cytochrome C. So what happens? Okay, electrons move from cytochrome B to cytochrome C. Okay, or you can write cytochrome C1. This is the complex 3. Okay, then what happens from complex 3? Okay, here you can write cytochrome C. Okay, this was C1, this is cytochrome C, which is a mobile element. Okay, this connects complex 3 with complex 4. This cytochrome can move and it connects complex 3 with the complex 4, which is known as the cytochrome C oxidase. Okay, and this consists of cytochrome A and cytochrome A3. Okay, so cytochrome C will transfer electron to cytochrome A, and then finally cytochrome A will transfer electron to cytochrome A3, which will transfer electron to molecular oxygen, resulting in the formation of water. Okay, so what should be the correct sequence? You can write here, this is known as cytochrome C oxidase. Okay, the name of this complex is cytochrome BC1. What should be the answer? Option B. The next question is, the overall goal of glycolysis, Krebs cycle and the electron transport is the formation of, okay, so they are talking about the respiration, entire process of respiration, and in the end what is formed? ATP is formed. Okay. Okay, now this ATP which is formed is not produced in a single step. Okay, it is produced in multiple steps. The energy is stored in the form of ATP. Okay, and ATP is produced in multiple steps. So what should be the answer? Answer is ATP is produced in small stepwise unit during glycolysis, Krebs cycle. Okay, and finally, electron transport system where oxidative phosphorylation is involved in the formation of ATP. The next question is, during complete metabolism of glucose, the number of ATP formed. Alright. So again, they are talking about the aerobic respiration. Again, now what happens? First, we have the glycolysis. Okay, during glycolysis, net gain of ATP is 2 ATP are produced and 2 NADH are also formed. Then we have oxidative decarboxylation. Okay, during which again 2 NADH are produced. Okay, then finally we have the Krebs cycle. Okay, during which 6 NADH are produced along with 2 FADH2 and 2 GTP are produced. Okay. Now we know 1 NADH is equal to 3 ATP. So 2 ATP plus 6 ATP, which is equal to 8 ATP. Here we have 6 ATP. And here we have 6 into 3 is 18 plus 2 into 2 will be 4 ATP and then 1 GTP is equal to 1 ATP. Okay. So plus 2 ATP. If we add all these, okay, what should be the answer here? It should be 24. Alright. Now if we add all these, 8 plus 6 plus 24. Then what should be the answer? Answer is 38 ATP. But in the options you have 36 ATP. Alright. So what happens during aerobic respiration? 2 ATP are utilized or consumed. Okay. For what? For the transfer of 2 NADH. Okay. From, okay, these NADH are produced during glycolysis. Okay, 2 NADH from the cytosol to the matrix of the mitochondria. Alright. And this NADH are then used in the electron transport system. So what we can do now? We can reduce 2 ATP from this. So the answer should be 36 ATP. Alright. So answer is option C, 36 ATP. The next question is, how many ATP molecules will be generated in a part system during complete oxidation of 40 molecules of glucose? Alright, so they are again talking about the complete oxidation, means they are talking about the aerobic respiration. Alright, now in the previous question we have already seen that 36 ATP are produced, okay, from one glucose molecule. Okay, 36 ATP are produced from one glucose molecule. So from 40 molecules of glucose, how many ATP will be produced? This is very simple, 36 into 40. Okay, which should be 1440. So option C is the right answer. Now coming to the next question, which of the following is amphibolic in nature? Okay, you can circle this term, amphibolic. So amphibolic means, okay, when a pathway is both catabolic as well as anabolic. Alright, a pathway is said to be amphibolic in nature, okay, when depending on the requirement of the organism, it can switch either to the catabolic mode or to the anabolic mode. Okay, so catabolism means breakdown of complex organic material into simpler one. Okay, whereas anabolic pathway is formation of complex from simple organic material or from simple compound, complex organic compounds are formed. All right, here in catabolism there is a breakdown. Okay, so here they are asking which of the following is amphibolic in nature. All right, so options are glycolysis, deoxidative carboxylation of pyruvate, TCA cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation. So what should be the answer? Answer is Krebs cycle. Okay, so what happens in Krebs cycle? We know oxaloacetate combines with acetyl coenzyme A, and forms citrate. Okay, now this acetyl coenzyme A can either come from glucose, or it can also come from the fatty acids. All right, so if there is a requirement of energy, then what will happen? Citrate will be converted into isocitrate and all and everything. Okay, here later succinate will form. Okay, and then from succinate, all the reactions will take place and oxaloacetate will be regenerated. So this happens when the organism need energy. But when there is sufficient amount of energy, what will happen? Acetyl coenzyme A can again get back converted into fatty acids. All right, so means it can undergo anabolic pathway. All right, so this happens during the TCA cycle. All right, now next question is, in some succulents plant like Opuntia, the RQ value is 0. So now what is RQ value? RQ value is the ratio of the carbon dioxide released by oxygen consumed. So what happened in succulent plants? Stomata open at night time. At night time, stomata open and carbon dioxide is fixed. But what happens during the daytime? Carbon dioxide is fixed at the night time and it is stored as organic acid, like malate. In the night time. During daytime, what happens? This malate is decarboxylated, and carbon dioxide is released. Here you can say pyruvate is formed by the decarboxylation of malate during the daytime, and this carbon dioxide which is formed can again enter the C3 cycle, or it is used in the photosynthetic process, for the generation of carbohydrate. So there is no release of carbon dioxide. All right, so what happens in succulent plant? RQ value becomes 0. All right, so option B is correct. Oxygen is absorbed but carbon dioxide is not released, means 0 divided by whatever amount of 0 amount of carbon dioxide and whatever amount of oxygen. So answer is 0. There is no carbon dioxide released. The next question is, here we have to refer the figure. A figure is given of the citric acid cycle. Figure is in the next slide, and what you have to do, you have to label all these P, Q, R, S, N, T. So this is the figure of the citric acid cycle. Here you have to label all these P, Q, T, S, and R. All right. So we know oxaloacetic acid is a 4-carbon compound. Citric acid is a 6-carbon compound. Alpha ketoglyceric acid is a 5-carbon compound. Because what happens here, there is a decarboxylation step here. Okay. Again, succinic acid is a 4-carbon compound. Again here, decarboxylation takes place. Alright. Malic acid is again a 4-carbon compound. Alright. So what should be the answer? These are the options. Answer is option A. Alright. Now coming to the next question. Here again you have been given the figure and the question is refer the figure and identify X, Y and Z. You have to identify X, okay, Y and Z. Okay. Now what happens when isocitric acid is converted into alpha-ketoglyceric acid? Carbon dioxide is released and NADH is produced from NAD. Here again, what happens? NADH is produced from NAD. During conversion of succinyl coenzyme to succinic acid, GTP is produced from GDP. Alright, and here what happens? FADH2 is produced from FAD. Alright, so what should be the answer? These are the options. Okay, so answer should be option C. Okay, X is NADH2, then we have Y is FADH2 and Z is GTP. Alright, so this was the end of this lecture. Alright, thank you very much for listening.